Let's talk about a story that really messes with your head. Imagine you spend your whole life, your whole career, proving that something doesn't exist. You've got this huge following online, all based on debunking myths. But then, what happens when one night you find the one piece of proof you can't deny, and that proof is you?
So meet Swastik. He's a massive YouTuber, known to his millions of fans as the Night Hunter. And his whole brand, his entire identity is built on one simple, unshakable belief: ghosts are not real. To him, they're just a product of our own overactive imaginations.
And look, this isn't just some weekend hobby for him. It's a full-on crusade. Swastik travels to all the most legendary haunted spots. You know, the creepy old asylums, the decaying mansions, all with a single goal: to hit record and prove to everyone that there's nothing to be afraid of.
For tonight's live stream, he's tackling a big one, the 3:33 a.m. challenge. You've probably heard of this, right? The idea that 3:33 in the morning is the so-called devil's hour, when paranormal stuff is supposed to be at its peak. For Swastik, this is the perfect stage to show everyone it's all just superstition.
And you can't do a challenge this famous without finding the perfect, bone-chilling location. So let's talk about the dark, tragic history of the place Swastik's about to walk into. Okay, so picture this. Deep in a forest, miles from anywhere, sits the burnt-out shell of an old orphanage. 15 years ago, a terrible fire ripped through the building. A lot of children died that night, along with their elderly caretaker. And ever since, people who live nearby swear, if you listen closely at night, you can still hear the ghosts of those kids laughing and crying in the ruins.
So the stage is set. Swastik pulls up, camera in hand, and starts his live stream. He steps inside the orphanage, and the countdown to 3:33 a.m. is officially on. He's setting up his gear, motion sensors, cameras, the whole shebang. And then, at 2:55 a.m., he gets the first little blip. A motion sensor goes off down an empty hall. On camera, Swastik just laughs. He tells his viewers, probably just a rat, guys. No big deal. His confidence is totally unshaken. But then, 5 minutes later, at exactly 3 a.m. on the dot, things get weird. It's not just one beep this time, it's a chorus. 3 different motion sensors in 3 completely separate rooms all go off at the exact same instant. And you can see it on his face. Even he has to admit to his audience. Okay, that's odd.
Right after that, he feels it. The air gets cold, really cold. He checks his thermometer, and yep, it's not just in his head. The temperature has nosedived from a totally normal 24 degrees Celsius all the way down to a freezing 16. That's a classic paranormal sign, and it's the first thing he can't immediately explain away.
And while he's staring at the thermometer, trying to rationalize the cold, he hears it. It's faint at first, but it's unmistakable. It's the sound of children laughing. He tells his audience it's probably just a hidden speaker planted by locals to scare people, but you can see his eyes darting into the shadows.
And this is the moment. This is when his whole skeptical worldview really starts to crack. He's in the main hall when a little wooden chair just slides a few feet across the dusty floor, all by itself. Then another one moves. Then a table scrapes. There's no wind, no wires. And for the first time all night, you see real, genuine fear on his face. We are now at the boiling point. The weird events have been stacking up, and the line between Swastik's reality and something else is about to completely break. It hits 3:33 a.m., and right on cue, his camera feed starts glitching out, flickering with static. He looks down at the camera's little monitor to check the feed, and his blood runs cold, because on the screen, standing right behind his own image, is an old woman. He spins around, nothing. There is absolutely no one in the room with him. But on the screen, she's still there, and his live chat is just exploding. Thousands of people are seeing her perfectly, an old woman with these sad eyes and horrible burn marks all over her face. They're all spamming the chat. Run! She's right behind you!
And then comes the comment that makes no sense. It pops up in the chat, and it's from his own verified account, Swastik Official. And all it says is, Swastik is already dead. He thinks he's been hacked, right? But then another one pops up from his account again saying, this isn't a hack. You really are dead.
So, what on earth is going on? Is this some elaborate prank? A hack? No. The reality is something so much more tragic and so much more unbelievable. Let's break down what was really happening that night.
Here's the heartbreaking truth. The real story started long before the live stream. At 2:35 a.m., while he was on his way to the orphanage, Swastik was in a fatal car crash. He died instantly. So what everyone was watching, it wasn't a living person hunting for ghosts. It was the confused spirit of a man, so driven by his final mission that he just kept going, completely unaware that he was already gone.
So you see the disconnect here. In his mind, he was investigating a haunted building, but in reality, he was the lost spirit, trapped by his own obsession. He thought the old woman was some terrifying monster, but in the most tragic irony imaginable, she was actually a guide, the spirit of the caretaker, who was trying to gently help him understand what had happened.
And as the truth hits him, as the memories of the accident come flooding back, everything changes. The fear on his face just melts away and turns into this look of profound sadness, and then acceptance. The caretaker spirit reaches for him, and on the live stream, Swastik's image just fades away, leaving behind a dark, empty room.
But for everyone in the real world, the mystery was just getting started. Because what the police found the next morning left them with a puzzle that was completely impossible to solve.
The police find a camera sitting right in the middle of the orphanage floor, and the entire live stream is saved on its memory card. But the accident report is clear. Swastik died in a car crash on the highway, miles away, almost an hour before that live stream ever even started. Which leaves us all with one final chilling question. If the man was already dead, how in the world did his camera get there?